greeting you from the TV studio here at Solano Community College's Fairfield campus. I'm Sean, and today I'm joined by Melissa, Salea, Ava, and Naomi. And today we'll be discussing stress in college students. Specifically, we'll be talking about what stress is and how it affects our bodies. Secondly, we'll be talking about the different branches of stress. And lastly, we'll be going over what we can do to help with our stress. On the on the note of introducing what stress is and how it affects our bodies, Melissa, did you have something to say about that?
Yeah, so stress pretty much is the natural response from our body that is usually caused by pressure or demands. Although it is very normal, it can become chronic really quickly if not taken care of. It can affect both the mind and the body.
This is true. And I like to add that a lot of the time we don't realize that stress is something that's happening chemically in our brain rather than something that we're just feeling emotionally. A lot of people don't know exactly what's going on, but we have something called the HPA axis, which stands for hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. It's like a switch that flips when your body releases two stress chemicals and hormones called adrenaline and cortisol. Usually, like a lot of people associate adrenaline with like fight or flight. So like if one of us was like running from like somebody that was trying to chase you, you would feel that panic most of the time. But it's also something that involves stress. And then we have cortisol, which is a more long term, and it helps you stay alert and focused for longer periods of time. And that also is involved in stress. I read an article that was produced or released in 2022 about stress, the brain and body. And long-term exposure to stress hormones weakens the area like the hippocampus, which helps with our long memory and learning, and the prefrontal cortex, which handles focus and decision making. And then along with that, I want to say I feel like a lot of the time people think that being stressed is just something that they make up in their head, but it's your body's way of telling you that you are actually stressed. If you're actually feeling something like tense and you're tensing up on a daily basis, like that's something that's actually happening. It's not just something you should be ashamed of.
You're
Just
actually
yeah.
making it up.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
completely agree. The amount of times I've been told by like other people, they're like, "You're stressed. You're not stressed. Like, what do you have to stress about?" It's just like just
Like
frustrating.
you start comparing your stressors because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, my stress is just because I didn't turn my assignment, but somebody
But
else
it's
is
still
doing.
considered stress.
It is.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely sometimes feel, to add on to you really quickly, that we're not always aware that we're constantly stressed until we might like break down one random night,
Crying.
like just crying. I also read an article uploaded on April 3rd, 2024. Howard says that all of these changes that are happening so quickly in our brain basically don't let people to become fully aware of them. In fact, the wiring in our brains is so efficient that the amygdala and the hypothalamus start this chain reaction even before the brain's visual centers have had a chance to fully comprehend what is happening. And through this, we can definitely interpret just how quickly our brain responds to stress, whereas our mind and eyes cannot quickly become consciously aware of our surroundings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just more of like a thought.
It's more of
in
a
the-
thought. We
yeah.
don't fully like realize how stressed we are until moments later. But
Yeah.
our brain captures that chain reaction really quickly.
I want to add on to that, like the main part of the stress for college students is like social stress. For some students, starting college could be exciting, and for some of them, it could be overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's like based on the expectation that like in their relationship, family from them have, and the other thing is like in social situation, they are new, they are out of their comfort zone, and it can cause a rise in their stress. For family expectation, I could say this more matches to immigrant students. Like they come from a family that's from the third world country. It could be third world or any places from the world. And like when they come to United States, they're new to everything.
Yeah, like I was saying, like what we were talking about the other day when we were all together. Like, remember how we brought up the W, and how all of us were like, like it's little things like that where it's just like if you had known stuff like that, it feels like wow, if I had known that, it could have made my life so much easier.
Right.
Like especially during your freshman year of college, it's honestly much harder than starting high school because it's like this is the part of your life that really matters and where you go towards your developing as an adult. And it's like if somebody just tells you everything you need to know, it would be so much easier, but that's just not how it works. And it's not how it. So you feel like a failure if you're doing that in a class, if you just don't know small pieces of information, which kind of sucks. But
Yeah.
I
don't
think like college is a place to grow.
yeah,
So it's not
Totally,
a place to know
yeah.
everything. We are coming to a place to not know anything and trying to know and
For
like
sure.
to get to real work, what's going on, to
Yeah.
get prepared for a real job and like financial stability and like how to manage our life. It's not a place for us to maintain a perfect image like social media.
Yeah.
We tend to compare our life, our like college life with social media. We have a trend in social media that says like, get ready with me for college. We don't have that.
It's like I just roll out of bed. It's not like I'm not getting ready.
You
like getting ready.
Okay, guys, but like back onto the impact that stress has on our bodies though, I do want to say that I don't know which one of you said it, but I do know that you guys say like it would be nice to have someone that would tell us everything before we got into
mentor.
college.
Yeah.
It's the little things. Like you'd be like even registering. I had no like I was like registering the day before, and I was like, okay, now I have nothing that I need. So nobody tells you that. And
Yeah,
it's
but
just
also,
hard.
but like back to the impact it has on our body, I do feel as though there's some things that people should just know because when it comes to stress, like we attribute it mainly to pain in our stomach. And when it comes to that, a lot of people just generalize it and they like to say like, oh, stress is just tummy trouble. Like it's nothing more than that. Well, it's so much more than that because I actually read an article recently by Patty Weisler on Very Well Health. I think she published it September 6, 2025. And she's basically talking about how the stress and like the things going on in your brain can really affect your like gastrointestinal health and what's going on in your stomach because stress, like while it does cause stomach pains, like yeah, that's true, it also causes things like indigestion and like diarrhea, things like that. And for college students especially, we already have so much we need to stress about, like gas for our car, like an assignment we need to do, midterms, everything. Like yeah, gas,
gas is like
Coming up with
added
the money
to
for
the
that
price.
gas.
Yeah, and on top of that, we also have to worry about eating, which our stomach makes it difficult already with how much it hurts all the time. And for me especially, because I know I deal with this like almost every day, like when I have to give a presentation, like while I'm researching for it, I I'm hungry, yeah, but my stomach starts hurting and I'll feel the need to like eat. But I know if I eat, my stomach's just gonna like get into knots. It's gonna hurt so
nauseous.
much
You
more.
don't wanna eat at all.
And I just can't eat anything until I finish my work, which is either late at night or the next day. And it's just completely like difficult.
I feel like there's the other side too because like we were talking about earlier as well, like the freshman 15, like you always hear about it, it's more of like a joke, but it is a real thing.
It is a real thing.
Like it's not something that everyone should be ashamed of because I feel like it is really hard to be at home all the time and trying to make yourself something that has nutrients and something that's healthy,
You go
low
for whatever's
calorie.
quick.
Like
Yeah.
it's just like you're trying to stop at Taco Bell, get something really quick. Like it's not like
And not
It's-
to mention the amount of body dysmorphia that could create in freshmen.
no.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
am I getting this freshman 15?
Mhm.
Do I look bigger?
Especially
Like,
with
yeah.
the media and stuff, that can
Yes.
have a really big
Yes, for
impact.
sure.
Also, because like creating like inflammation in the stomach and like damaging the stomach lining, like I know people love to downplay stress as like just something in our heads, but in reality, like when stress damages our stomach lining, constant exposure to stress at least, it can make us more susceptible to things like cancer, like even tumors. So that means stress is something that we can possibly die from, and
Yeah.
that's horrifying.
Like you
Once
said,
again,
the stomach lining, I actually read this. Like that stomach lining that you have is called gastric rugae.
Really?
So it looks like this like kind of corn maze thing, and it basically is what contracts and propels the stomach or the food that you're kind of churning in your stomach. And if you're stressed out, your body has nerves that go down into your abdomen that do play an effect on how your intestines and your stomach like process everything, and it can kind of make like in I can't say it, but like inefficient movements and everything.
Movements, that makes
yeah.
a lot of
Yeah,
sense.
totally. Because honestly, yeah, cancer from not being able to eat because of school stress and from the constant pressure being put on your stomach. And not even just that, but because you're not eating, because you're so worried about your schoolwork, it can lead to like horrible relationships with food, developing like eating disorders and stuff like that. And that just shows that like stress, it can kill you, and it can also permanently damage the relationship you have with food for the rest of your
It
life.
can take over your life within months.
And
even.
you can't you don't even notice it half the time.
We don't notice it
Yeah.
until we start to show negative signs.
Yeah, I think like we are not alone in this. All college students have like some of them deal with it, and like some of them show how they deal with the stress, and like some of them like hide it. So it's something that every college student feel it. Some of it's like silently they deal with it, and we don't know it.
Yeah.
For a long time, we don't know like that they have a stress. Something caused us like to not focus and like procrastinate everything, and like not having the interest to go ahead with all of the things that we have like in everyday stress.
Yeah, suffering in silence is a real thing.
It is a
Yeah.
real thing.
Ava, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, so kind of going off of you, Sean, you were kind of going into the physical like impacts on the body, especially like the stomach, but there are so many other physical impacts like all throughout the body, not just the stomach. So stress can cause you to have a bad sleep schedule, so staying up super late and just not wanting to wake up in the morning and almost like just missing classes. It kind of can create like like I didn't get enough sleep, so I'm just gonna miss this early morning class.
Yeah.
Kind of, and creating a bad sleep schedule or bad sleep habits, it's kind of proven that it could lead to sadness or even like depression, which is really like sad.
There are nights where I have just like not slept at all. Like I just say if I had an exam next morning, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna study from the time that I am starting till the morning if I have to, and then I'll take my exam and find some sleep afterwards because I'm trying to get. But I feel like even if I'm staying up all night, I'm so tired, I'm not processing any of the information. It just washes away as soon as I like start my morning.
Or like cramming for an exam and you're up for 8 hours the night before an exam. Oh my gosh, terrible.
It's really
You're more
bad.
likely to do poor.
Or
on
like
the
I will
exam.
get like I know it's not real energy, but if I stay up for a long period of time, I get this boost of energy that's
It's
not
almost like adrenaline.
yeah, it's not real.
Yeah.
It's like it's your body telling you that. I think that it's trying to
Like you're burning out.
It's trying to like fight for your. It's trying to like make
Fight
up
or
for your
flight.
sleep. Yeah, that's what it is. Like, but I'm not really awake. I'm tired. I'm just getting
That
like.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially with college students, like having to pull all-nighters for like to just get that 11:59 deadline or like even
And
more.
then you have a class like at 9 a.m. and you're like,
Yeah, that's honestly like really stressful to keep up with. But now that we have established kind of the stress, like what stress does to our bodies and like what it is, I think it's good if we move on to the different branches of stress that we have. Ava, did you want to start us off with that?
Yes, of course. So, according to the JED Foundation website, I researched a little bit about academic stress. So, there are so many stressors students face in college pertaining to academics. So, you could be worrying about cramming for an exam, like we mentioned, what grade I'm going to get if I'm going to fail this class, what's going to happen, like, am I a bad student, am I a good student, just so much stuff. And research shows that the more stress a student faces can lead to lack of motivation to do anything, even schoolwork, and it could really impact your academic achievements and increase the possibility of even dropping out of college, which is really bad. And having too much stress, especially during college, can even lead to health problems, like we mentioned, like depression, anxiety, substance abuse, bad sleep habits, like I mentioned, which is physical factors. And stress can really come from anything through academics, but it's not talked about, I feel like, enough how much academic stress has an impact.
I feel like
on
it
the
is
body.
very normalized, but we don't talk about the effects of it as much because people will tell you, well, yeah, you're in college, of course you're going to become academically stressed, but they kind of make us not bring so much attention onto the issue when in
They don't know
reality
how
it really
serious it
is.
can get.
Yeah, they really don't.
I think it's harder because, like, I know even in high school you're still kind of considered like an adult, but you're not really held like your hand's not held in
Yeah.
college
Like,
at
not
all.
really
Like
isn't.
you're not gonna be told when stuff's due. You're not gonna be told like when you have to go to class. Like your schedule is what you make. Like
Yeah.
your parents aren't gonna be on you unless they are. But like most parents are in college are kind of backing off because that's when you're supposed to kind of find out yourself and grow.
Mhm.
And I just think that high school you really have to like develop good habits
Yeah.
to kind of bring with you to college.
Yeah.
So I feel like I wasn't studying that much in high school because it was easier. But in college, I really had to find how I was
Ways
gonna
to study.
ways
Yeah.
to study. It was really hard for
That
me to
makes sense,
develop
yeah.
those.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's a really big adjustment from like high school to a freshman in college is such a big adjustment, especially like you said, if you don't have any like those soft skills for school. And honestly, personally, I had to build them myself too, and it was not easy.
Even if you did
Yeah.
have them, it's still way
It's still
different.
way
Like you have to
different. Yeah,
find
for
it in
sure.
a different way now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, college is like new environment, new people. Like
Yeah.
you have to how to manage your time. I mean, like different schedule that you have. Like you have to have for 20 units that you have, like as a normal college student, you have to know how to manage your time and fill a space for like
And you have to
for
advocate for
assignment,
yourself.
homework,
Mhm.
and that's the important part. That like we know how to do time management, and it's not in the school math, but like in college, you face a lot that like you don't have time to do a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure. And in college, your responsibilities are increased by a ton from high school. You now have financial responsibilities, work responsibilities, school work, attendance, and your own time to be responsible for. And the weight of having to balance out this new kind of like college lifestyle is honestly just that itself is a huge stressor to like new college students, freshmen.
Mhm.
And with new responsibilities arising, it can almost feel overwhelming and hard when you're not being able to keep up
Mhm.
or do your best in certain classes like you were able to in high school with your high school routine. Because in college, you have this whole new routine and you're kind of thrown out into this like world that you're like, whoa, like how do I do this? What do I do? You know what I mean?
What really stood out to me what you said was the financial part of it because
Yes.
I think money is mainly the biggest stress of a college
Right.
student. Like the other factors you can kind of work around, like figuring out your academics and doing all that stuff, but money is something that's always a problem for somebody that's young trying to go through college. For college students, financial stress is really common, like because of tuition, rent, groceries, just trying to live. Money can be a constant source of anxiety, like all the time.
Yes.
Like I know for myself, I have 2 jobs, and like as even if I do have 2 jobs, I feel like it's still kind of clashing with my routine and trying to like save up as much money as I can. I do have help from my parents, but I feel like it's important to kind of gather my own financial safety. And what I read from Financial Stress Among College Students, produced by Mary Forth in 2020 article, about 71% of students say their personal finances can cause them major stress, and that stress doesn't just make people worried, it affects everything. Less sleep, more fatigued, experience higher anxiety, even depression, struggle to focus on schoolwork or maintain grades. Because I know I come home really late, like 9 or 11 sometimes, and I'm like, I need to do my work, but I just got home off of a shift, and it's harder.
It's
Yeah.
a really hard balance.
Yeah, it's
for
really
sure.
insane how fast it can like snowball into something because originally what went from like a financial problem like snowballed into also you having 2 jobs, having to keep up with that schedule, balancing with school, also paying for like everything else in your life. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand how you do it. That sounds
Yeah.
Yeah. And my thing is, not only is it stressful for like right now trying to pay for like my gas and all that other stuff, it's also really hard for us, like our generation, to want to kind of become independent. Like we can't afford getting apartments, we can't afford getting new things that we need. Like we have to really rely on our parents for a longer period of time that they relied on their
We're
parents.
either relying on our parents or we're relying on loans.
And if we do get an apartment, we have to split it with people, kind of find
And that's
how
like a
we're
lot of
gonna
things,
like split the rent. Like I know for myself, I want to split rent with my boyfriend, but even then it's kind of hard because we're not making enough and we're trying to go to school at the same time and keep a certain like standard of grades,
Mhm.
so it's
sure.
hard.
That's just even more stress on
It
top
is.
of
It's like
it.
I want to
Yeah.
find independence and go do my own thing, but it's hard. But it's
way
money.
hard. Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. Like based off what you guys said, like the financial part and the academic part of stress. I think another thing that it can like snowball into, like you said, would have to be personal emotional stress, which is a psychological response to all the varieties of demands and challenges that students face, kind of like everything that you guys mentioned. And of course, after studying for hours at a day, students can often begin to feel burnt out, especially if they are balancing a full-time job or even a part-time job. And you said you're balancing 2 jobs. You said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that can cause even anxiety, and it can cause other things, sometimes even depression. In fact, in an article that I read by the American College Health Association, their report indicated that 76% of students experienced moderate of high levels of stress, and over 60% experience overwhelming anxiety.
Yeah.
And from anxiety, this can lead to really poor academic performance. This can look like failing tests, difficulty concentrating in not just class, but in social settings as well.
Honestly, anxiety can just take over your life
So quickly.
so
so
quickly.
Yeah.
And people don't know it. People often they go to the hospital for panic attacks or anxiety attacks. They think they're dying or having a heart attack because that's what it mimics. But people don't know they're just having anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that could take it out on your
I
academics.
genuinely feel like everybody's so into themselves. Like we all have
sure.
it. Like it's
Yeah, we all
everybody.
have
It's
it.
you,
We all
me.
do.
Like my
Yeah.
dad, my mom, like my sister. My sister's probably 11, but I know
Yeah.
like even younger kids have their stressors. Like
Yeah.
it's probably not as something as big as money, but they have their own things where they're
Yeah.
like worrying about. We don't even know, like because everybody's internal thoughts are just like constantly turning
Yeah,
and
we
going
shouldn't-
all the time.
We shouldn't like downplay
No,
anyone's
yeah.
stress because we don't know what anyone's like going through or
Everyone's
anything.
problems are big to them, even if they're not big to us.
Mhm.
And it's
Definitely.
It could be the littlest thing to you, but to them it could be like your whole world.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
So we shouldn't. So it really just shouldn't be judging anybody.
Like
Mhm.
I remember, this is kind of random, but the other day I was getting off of work and I work by Target. So like there's like this girl in the corner who she's homeless, but she plays music. And I remember like I was so stressed that day because it was so busy at my job, and I had gotten like a $3 tip. So I was like, oh my god, like she's stressed, I'm stressed, and I gave her like those $3 that I got for my tip because I was like, everybody's problems are their own, and
their own,
she's
yeah.
obviously was needing it more than I did at that
Mhm.
moment, and
Yeah.
it was like
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just weird.
That was such a nice thing to do.
It was just I don't know, I felt like some way about it.
I'm
That is
sure
really
you
nice.
guys have all heard by now like what seasonal depression is, and
Oh,
I think around
yes.
this time,
Yeah.
specifically for college
sure.
students, oh my god, I think personally I'd say I'm definitely I'm on that boat right now, and again
Mhm.
just kind of like
For sure.
connecting it to like personal and emotional stress that can lead to seasonal depression. I feel like a lot of people overlook it on the media. Like they'll kind of make it seem as if, oh, it's seasonal depression is some sort of joke, but it is in fact a really real thing. Like I think sometimes turning in an assignment at the end of like that 11:59 date just becomes harder and harder over as the months
Yeah.
go by, and that could also look like other things, just not like assignments, but maybe like I know some people struggle with taking care of themselves, like making sure they're eating right, like you mentioned.
Mhm.
So that's just another thing I wanted to add on.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like the family expectation that like our family have. We have to have good grades, be in the right major to pay off much like, so we can like break the poverty cycle for immigrant student and thing. Like for them, their family expect them like to be in a higher positions, so it can pay them like more, so they can break the cycle of poverty in their family. And that's the other stress for college students. They have to like meet up with all those expectations and whatever comes to their way. And the other thing is relationship. They need to show up for their significant and their important days, and we can. It's like it's November, and it's the next month we have like our finals. We have to study for it.
Yeah.
And then we have Thanksgiving,
We-
Christmas, things we have coming
Yeah.
up with
Things a
our
lot of things coming up
families,
with our
and it's kind of hard
families.
to want to like focus on that as well.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like I barely see my family as much as I did when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
I'll
Oh,
come
but,
home
like,
for a
what is
minute.
that?
I feel like I'm never home. At
No,
this
yeah,
point.
I'm like, I'll run into my dad at the house, and I'm like, wait, I haven't seen my dad.
I
And
feel
like,
like an upset father.
I'm like,
I know.
oh, hey.
So yeah, I get it. It's
Yeah.
hard. Like,
Yeah.
and then you have relationships too. Like I know
Oh,
you
for
have
sure,
a boyfriend.
yeah.
I do too,
Mhm.
and it's like you have to balance that
Balance
as
that
well.
to time with them, while also like
Yeah.
making sure that we're focusing on our academics.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
It is very hard.
Yeah, no, but when you were talking about the familial like expectations, I agree with that like 100% because I'm the first person in my immediate family to be going to college. So it's a lot. They're always telling me like, "Oh, Sean, like this is your chance to like do what we couldn't."
Shine
And I'm
bright.
like, "Oh my
Like
God, like this
pressing
is
on
so
you,
much.
yeah,
Like
it's
please,
too
guys."
much.
But I do
Talk
understand
about
it's
pressure.
overall it doesn't stress me out as much as it did before, but I do know someone that isn't me is dealing with that immense pressure to be what like everyone else in their family couldn't. So I do have to say that family stress is extremely real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel
And-
that as well.
Hmm.
for
And
sure.
not even that, but what families tend to do when they want you to be a better version of yourself is they tend to compare you to like a sibling or like themselves.
Your older brother. would never
Yeah.
do this.
Mm-hmm. No, because
Don't say
the
that.
way that I was growing up, I had horrible grades, and they're like, "Oh, Sean, your sister's in like these classes. She's in the advanced program. Like, what's going on?" And I'm like,
They
"Oh."
just have to remember that it's your path. Like I'm pretty
Everybody has
fortunate
different
because my parents are pretty supportive.
Mhm.
Sometimes I wish they were a little bit more on me, but I feel like that's because they want me to build my own discipline
Yeah.
rather than trying to seek it
Yeah.
into somebody else.
Mhm.
But I feel like I got pretty fortunate because my parents are pretty supportive. Like
Mhm.
I know if I needed like help with something, they
They'll
would
show
like
up,
pitch
yeah.
in. Like if I needed money for a class. But other than that, like I'm wanting to find independence is like I don't know. It's hard, but at the same time, you like really want to do it at this time of your
Mhm.
life. But like you said, like I get it. It's hard when you're getting compared. It's like
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
hard.
Because I remember when I was talking with Ava when we were in this class the other day, and she told me about this quote that was comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that quote.
Yeah, that really
Yeah.
stood out to me because I actually did more research on it and I found an article by Sophia Merton, Stoic Quotes,
Yes.
from March 27th, 2024. And she basically talks about how we're not able to be happy with ourselves as long as we're comparing ourselves with like others, like other things, other people, no matter what it
Yeah.
is. Because you're comparing yourself like let's say it's even something small like someone your hair or your clothes or something you'll feel good about yourself, then you'll walk into class and you'll see people like with amazing hair and amazing outfit and you just walked in with like sweats and it's
I
like
do
what am I
that
doing
on
with
social
my
media
life?
a
Yeah.
lot. Like
Oh,
social
for
media
sure.
for me is my biggest like comparison.
Mhm.
Like I always follow like people who inspire me, but then I start kind of shaming myself because I'm watching their content so much, and I'm just like, why can't I
Or I
be
see
or look like
that,
that?
or
I
look
see
like
people on my
that, yeah.
feed and they're going to the gym every day and
Mhm.
they have a huge house and they have so much like money and they're
Yeah.
just like going out and they're traveling so much and I'm like, I wish that could be my life,
Yeah.
but at the same time I have to remember in the back of my head I'm like, I can't compare myself to these people because we're in like two different like
Path.
Yeah.
almost like worlds right
Yeah, for
now.
sure.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I can't compare myself to you.
Mhm.
Maybe I will like maybe I can be like you one day for sure, but not
Mhm.
right now, and that's okay.
And that's
Mhm.
definitely
It's always
definitely
okay.
I feel
Yeah.
like that's the thing with our minds. A lot of the times, like, yeah, our mind is supposed to have our best interest at heart, but when it comes to something like comparison, which is basically stress's best friend, that's
Yes.
basically it just completely warps our mind and it makes you look at other people and think, wow, like he didn't have to put in any effort today. He just looks this good on the daily, or he has such a good life, like, and he didn't even have to do anything. Like, why can't I have that? And it just causes you to be like, why does everyone else have such a good life compared to me? And why am I not there? And like you said about social media, I think that's a great thing to bring into here because social media, you see a lot of influencers and you see a lot of people our age and they do like get ready with me to like go to my parents' mansion or
know.
something
And
like
like
that.
skip
And it's like
class.
go get ready with me to skip class. And it's insane
Yeah.
that or like trends, TikTok trends, for example, like not only I don't even know. There's so much to talk
There's
about with
so much
comparison
TikTok trends out there. It's like
Mhm.
I need to
like Stanleys, like I need to go and get a Stanley because that's what everybody
Yeah,
has.
that's what
Yeah.
every
Or it's
college
like,
student has.
Whenever
yes,
the-
or like I need to go get this certain thing because
Yeah.
it's all over social media
Mhm.
and I'll fit right in.
Yeah.
It's bad to
Exactly.
admit, but I start getting mad at the person who like posts the content because I'm like, it's
They
not
know what
it's
they're doing,
it's
yeah.
not them, it's self
I
insecurity.
think you're projecting.
No,
yeah.
that's what it is, and it's not me being like, oh, like I'm not like shaming them or anything, but I just start getting like angry. But I'm not actively saying anything bad about them. I'm just like thinking in my head like I'm mad because I don't have that, or I don't look like that, or something
Mhm.
like that.
I feel like
And it sucks. It's just I hate that I do that.
comparison definitely just makes us look at ourselves worse because it expects us to basically keep up with like the new clothing trends, the new like hairstyles going on, and also the new TikTok trends. Like through like the past 2 months, like there were like Labubus, like matcha
Oh,
Stanleys, like
You have
it's
to have
yeah.
I'm honestly
and
glad I didn't fall into the Labubu train.
Mhm.
I didn't buy one.
It's-
I didn't fall
Me
for
neither.
it.
yeah, it just
guys.
saves you like so much less stress. You don't have to think about
money.
like
Yeah.
keeping up with everything. And yeah, comparison is evil for sure.
I feel like comparison of looks as well,
Mhm.
and like thinking like, well, I'm 18 now. Like if I got lip injections or if I got Botox, like maybe I could look as good as these people. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to spend $500.
Yeah, but like little do we know, like after those people post their video, they're also nitpicking how they look. Like they
Yeah,
also
they're probably
think
also in the mirror going, how can I make myself better?
yeah, and it just sucks
Yeah.
how comparison can just like break us down from the inside.
You
It just
really don't know what either each person is going through.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And with that, I do want to say, like, now that we've gone over kind of what the branches of stress are, I think it's best that we come up with some possible solutions to all this crazy stuff going on.
Does
And
anyone have advice?
huh?
Does anyone have advice?
Oh.
I think you mentioned something earlier.
Yeah.
Melissa.
So I feel like making sure that one is getting really good sleep, exercising, eating well, and seeking help can drastically reduce levels of stress. And in fact, in an article that I read, posted on 2025, November 7th, titled How to Reduce Stress in College, he says that having a healthy body makes for a healthy mind. Research shows that roughly 95% of serotonin, the hormone responsible for stabilizing our mood, is produced within the gastrointestinal tract. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. But this statistic should definitely urge students to want to take care of themselves by getting the right nutrition in, specifically during stressful events. Like you mentioned, eating habits can definitely be a really negative effect from stress. And I feel like making sure that we're eating well, exercising can definitely help reduce some sort of levels of stress.
Totally.
Like
yeah.
I think personally going on walks has definitely helped me a lot. Just having your earbuds in with music can honestly like really reduce your stress levels for at least a few moments, which I feel like is worth it.
I
Yeah,
agree
definitely.
because even having somebody with you when you're doing those kind of activities, because I feel like sometimes I get bored.
Having
doing it.
companionship.
Yeah, like somebody just there, it
Yeah.
makes it easier. You're not even actively thinking about, oh, I'm getting exercising, but you're kind of doing both simultaneously. Like my boyfriend invites me on walks whenever we go, like when we take his dog out. Like I go with him, and like I'm not just getting like a lot of like active like well, I'm not just
you're
walking.
spending-
I'm spending time with
someone,
him,
yeah,
and I'm
you
not
love.
thinking
Yeah,
about
but that's
it.
also not what like you said, you're not thinking about getting the exercise. You're more on like clearing your mind, kind
Clearing
of.
your
That's what
mind,
I
yeah.
find.
Or
Like,
when we go to the gym, like I'm not thinking, oh, it's also me thinking we're getting to spend time with each other, but I'm getting some of my own personal
Yeah.
time in as well.
Have you guys heard of the quote? And it's usually like as like an insult, I guess, but it's called "Go touch grass."
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, like
Yeah, definitely.
yes.
Yeah.
So I see that a lot on like TikTok comment
Yeah.
sections of people who are too like chronically online or
Online.
whatever.
Mhm.
Me.
But I constantly think about that. Like anytime I go outside and I'm just like so like relieved of
Yeah.
like stress, I just think about that and I'm like, go touch grass. I'm like, that's kind of like real though because
That
I
is
feel
real.
like going outside is like kind of like it could cure like
Yeah.
for just
Yeah,
a little bit.
yeah, because like I will go touch grass. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, like I will
I
go
will go
reconnect
touch
with
grass
nature.
and
Thank
connect with
you.
nature. Yeah, it
Yeah.
honestly helps us so much more than we think. Of course, like you mentioned, we kind of joke about it on social media,
Yeah.
but that can actually help. I honestly hugged a tree once. My mom told me, go hug that tree. She saw that I was stressed and I thought she was joking. I'm like, I'm not gonna hug no tree. But once I actually went and, just hug the tree and just reconnect with nature, it actually felt a teeny bit better. And I feel like that's worth it. It should be enough.
Mhm.
And I just want to add on to your points earlier that another solution that I kind of did research in, and mostly from like my experience, not just research, is try not to just instead of like setting like goals, like you don't want to strive for perfectionism. Because I feel like a lot of the time when I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna do this and this and this right on the dot, like I'm not setting small goals, and that just makes it so much harder. Like if I have a big assignment due, like an essay, like I'm not gonna sit there and write it in one thing at a time. Like I need to like be like, okay, I'm gonna do part of it today, part of it next week, and then the part of it the following week. Because then I'm just gonna be sitting there the night of before it's due being like, I should have did this, and now it's not going to be a good written essay because I didn't work on it. Because
spreading it out instead of cramming.
But that's for everything. It's not just like school. Like I think it should apply to everything in life. Like if you're saving money, like don't think, oh, I'm going to go to work and work 40 hours this week, 40 hours next week, I'm going to save all that money. Like put some money aside. Like even if you spend like $50 like here and there, like, okay, well, I'm gonna make up for that and put $200 into my savings. It's just small little goals. It's like gonna help you. And one article that I read from the University of Bath is what it's called. It was produced in 2022. It's titled "Study Highlights How Perfectionism is Leading to Burnout," which is true. Like I feel like that's kind of the word that our generation used is burnout, because rather than saying, oh, like I'm gassed out, like we use burnout. And researchers found that people who constantly strive for flawlessness are more likely to feel emotionally exhausted, anxious, and burnt out.
For sure,
That's definitely like, that's how I feel when I do too much on my plate, like especially with my jobs, like it's too much at once.
I also did want to say, like, stress takes its toll on us for sure. Like we all like suffer from stress at one point, but that doesn't make it like impossible to deal with. There are things that we can do to lighten our load and just make it just a tiny bit easier for us. And I think one of those ways is definitely cutting out the things that make us stress, whether it's like people, like a bad environment, or even just like things like social media. I think it is necessary for us to cut out stress. Like I even looked at an article recently by Elizabeth Scott of Very Well Mind from October 6, 2025. And she talked about how watching the news, like being on social media, like drinking, like having an addiction, it just makes it so much worse. And
the news is a big one. Like I feel like the news is just negative.
Yeah,
like,
it just
I mean, I get it. It's informational. Like once in a while, it's okay, like to like look it up and like. But most of it is just negative.
Like kind of remind ourselves that we aren't in control of those situations, and there's not much we can do. I think we can remain informative, like on the news, like you said. But I think just reminding ourselves to give ourselves grace and remind ourselves that that's out of our control and that there's not much we can do.
But not even that, but with social media, there's so much fake news going around. And I feel like,
or like AI.
I feel like with how big these things are getting, like it just stresses us out so much more. It's so much better if, you know, someone that gets stressed out from the news that they see on TikTok deletes TikTok, because they're probably better off without it. And
even just like taking a break.
Taking breaks would be nice too. But also, if your stress doesn't come from social media, which I know for many of us it doesn't, but let's say you're dealing with a really toxic friend, like boyfriend or family member, as hard as it is, and as much as I hate to say it because I struggle with this too, you need to let them go, because it's just
say bye.
You need to say bye, because that's where they plant the seed of like negativity, as I like to say, in your mind. It's if you have a friend that's constant. If you have a friend that's constantly pointing out your flaws, like if you call them every day and they're like, why do you sound like that? Why do you what are you doing?
Why do you look like that?
Yes, it's always something. They always find something wrong.
Yeah, you don't need that kind of
Some
in your
people
life.
want to keep friendships, but it's like if they're a burden and there's no benefit from your friendship, it's like why we don't have to keep it cordial, but you don't have to keep contact. What I say.
Keeping the friendship, I get it means something. It has sentimental value, but in the long term, it's just not worth it for your health dealing with a toxic person.
Yeah.
And I think it's better if you cut them off because don't put yourself through that. It's only going to make your mind worse, and you're only going to excuse like people taking advantage of you in the future. It's better to cut negativity out of your life as
And you
best
really
as you
don't
can.
need that extra.
Yeah.
negativity.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and that comes to recognition. If like we recognize that where our stress comes from, that we are halfway on our way to get healed. Like you don't have to deal with it. We know where this fear comes from. We know like where the stress comes from. If it's something that like beneficial for us, you can deal with it. Where is my weakness in this situation that I'm afraid of being there? If it's someone else or something else that like we can remove it, we just need to remove it.
Mhm.
We don't have to deal with it. Like instead of being traumatized by something, it's good to not have it.
I agree. It would be better if people got to
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
instead of letting it get so far to the point where it traumatizes them.
For sure.
Do you guys have anything else to add?
Yes. So definitely there's like to all these different ways of stresses, like stressors that we've talked about, there are so many different healthy outlets and ways to take out your stress. And I kind of have a couple that I found online. So according to the Mayo Clinic website, they had an article talking about the best stress relievers. And their best stress relievers, that they said, were to get active, have physical activity during the day. It refocuses your mind and it makes you in a better mood. It can make you more tired at night. So if you have a bad sleep schedule, being more active during the day can lead to you being able to fall asleep easier at night if you've been struggling with that. To have a healthy diet. Having a healthy diet can make you and the inside of your body feel good as well, and make you more active and more energized to go out and do those physical activities as well. To avoid unhealthy habits, which is definitely like a big thing. So like I know earlier during the class we talked about having a caffeine addiction. So to avoid too much caffeine, too much caffeine can kind of just cause you to be like rattled or like jittery all day, or just like even be like sluggish.
I forget to drink water a lot. Like really bad. I probably have like 10 espresso shots a day, and I just don't drink water. And
Maybe
that's
try to slowly replace those espresso
Yeah.
shots with more like water or a healthier alternative.
Like,
Maybe having like coffee 3 times a week or 2 times a week can maybe help.
Yeah. Just slowly
It's a
shortening
part
it
of
so it's not
discipline.
too drastic.
My downfall of my stress is discipline, for sure. That's definitely
It's important to discipline yourself to be able to do like any of the things we just talked
anything,
about.
literally anything.
And you need discipline for like almost every unhealthy habits. There are so many more unhealthy habits, like too much alcohol, smoking. It's like nicotine is super big right now.
Very popular.
Eating a lot, that's a very unhealthy habit. Not eating enough is another huge unhealthy habit. But all of these can just increase your stress levels without you even knowing it.
For sure.
Exactly.
And lastly is to meditate. Meditate by yourself, meditate with others, connecting with others. And it just, you're able to focus your mind and find a sense of calm and peace. I know you touched on that, Melissa. And it just kind of like eases your mind, especially.
I've I've tried meditating during the night, and oh my god, I had like the best sleep
And
right
you know what?
afterwards.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't really take it into consideration. They feel like meditating might not help, but
Putting on calming music.
for calming. Or even just putting on calming music can really help.
Dimming the lights. Letting yourself breathe. And if you have like what we talked about earlier, which is a bad sleeping habit, meditation, honestly, like I've used it before, but I really can't fall asleep. And there's like apps that help you as well. It's just amazing to be able to use.
Just cut out everything else, just relax and focus on yourself.
Just for a few moments.
And I think we've covered basically everything we wanted to here.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching our podcast. I'm Sean. This is Melissa, Salea, Naomi, and Ava. Today, we covered stress in college students, and we hope that by watching our podcast, the next time you feel stressed, you'll be able to go back to the solutions we provided and help yourself get in a more calm mental state. Thank you.
The exponential growth from the program from my first year to my third year now, that's what keeps me coming back and keeps me excited and just like fulfills me as a person.
It's so impressive, and we every time we walk in here, you guys are doing something different. It's great. It's
nothing but opportunities here, and we have sports to cover, we have the equipment.
Because the more ambitious you are, the more opportunities you'll have.
On-the-job training is huge.
You get the hands-on experience.
When someone asks who can do it, you know, you can raise your hand and say, I can do it. So
Joining the class was the best decision I ever made.
Stand by, we're going to go to cut one. And cut one. Cross court to Audrey Jones. Audrey for three! It is good! With 1.3 seconds left on the game clock, Audrey Jones with one of the biggest shots.
the sky's the limit, really, with what we can do here.